first went to the East School, they called that East School, didn't they, up the top here. I went there. They were good times, they were hard times, you know, for us kids and that. I wasn't a good learner, I was more wanting to play sport and that, like all the rest of us.
I loved Chopwell schools, I was really happy. All my friends that I played with at home, I went to school with. It was just perfect.
They were great little schools, we had lovely teachers. My first teacher in the infant school was called Mrs Woodhall, and she was absolutely lovely, and it was just like being taught by your grandma. She was really nice.
I had a fantastic time at school. Strict teachers, but you respected everybody, you know.
They were really good schools. They were quite small classes in comparison to today.
I went down to the bottom school where the Collison's garage was. It's derelict now on the corner and the new houses are there. I went to that school as an infant school, and then when you got to 7 you had to come over to this school over the Mersey Street because it was a girls' school and the bottom one was the boys' school. But when I was about 14, that was the year the schools mixed. So I was back down the bottom school where I had gone as the infant school.
You didn't get taken to school. I think my mother took us the first day and possibly said, this is the peg, this is where you hang your coat, and then she went home and left us. And that was it, you know. And we used to go home at lunchtime because we just lived there, so.
We used to get a bottle of milk, and in the winter, and it used to be standing this far above the bottle with the ice, and all the birds had pecked it, and you used to think, no, it is, they wouldn't dare drink it. But we all did. And then you used to make a milk mat, didn't you?
And you had to make your milk mat.
With them wax cranes and stuff.
Miss Cheeseman, who was the headmistress, lived in the village as well, and she used to walk up, and all the kids, there was like, the gate to the schoolyard was down a little path to the side here, but we all used to stand where the barrier is at the top and wait for Miss Cheeseman to come to see if we could carry our bag. You know, there was always about half a dozen kids waiting for the privilege of carrying our bag into school. All the kids loved it.
There was a rota for tea and coffee duty, and we'd have to make the teachers cups of tea and coffee in the haunted staff room, which was quite scary at times. And when we went to wash up, there was any tea left in the pot, we used to get a little cup out and have a sneaky cup of tea while we're doing it. And telephone duty was highly contested. You'd be rushing to get to the 2 seats outside the secretary's office at the junior school to be on telephone duty. And you'd sit and you'd have to wait and hope that the telephone rang. And then if it did, you'd be like, oh, you have to answer the phone, you'd be like, hello, this is Chopwell Junior School, how may I help you? And we used to think we were so grown up doing it.
I can remember when I was in the first class, as Mrs Baldry was my teacher, my first teacher at school.
She was me.
And we had to make something with plasticine, and I made a toilet. And
how ingenious.
I did, I made this, and she said, and what's this, Bob? And I said, it's a toilet, Mrs Baldry. And she didn't say anything. She said, well, you need to go and show Mrs. whoever and Mrs. So I had to go around and I knew when I think back, I think, God, they're probably thinking, what is she?
At the Christmas party, we used to have to do the Bradford barn dance. We hated it. I can still remember it. I could do the dance now with you. I can remember it so clearly. And you used to have to wait until a boy had to come and pick you to dance. It was just embarrassing. And then you'd have to, all the girls would have to get passed on, and then you'd have to dance with all the boys in your class, even the smelly ones that you didn't particularly like. It was really embarrassing.
This school in particular was split into two. The infants, as I say, was at the top, the juniors was at the bottom, and there was a lane through the middle of the yard, and the infants weren't allowed to cross the lane and the juniors weren't, you know, so you stayed in your own part of the yard. But it was funny how it was like you didn't cross that lane on pain of death. And I don't know what anybody would have done, you know, because it was just a lane painted across, but you never ever crossed it. And there was outside toilets in the school then as well, which was, you know, seems strange now when I think about it, but we all crossed the yard to go to the toilet. Yeah.
and quite strict. We got the cane more than once, but I didn't go home and tell my mum I'd gotten the cane because I would have got it wrong again, so I just took my punishment and didn't tell anybody.
They were very, very strict. You didn't get away with anything. You know, you would never get away with being cheeky to a teacher or...
I got caught smoking a couple of times. I got caned for that. And I got caned for probably, the main one was, excuse me, the main one was probably climbing the garden walls. And I gone back to the old punishment book and gone back to 1900s, the early 1900s, I see there's one, the punishment book there, he got caned for climbing the walls. So that was one of them. I didn't get, they weren't bad things, they were just things that kids do sort of thing. Let's face it, they weren't bad things.
The girls didn't get it as much as the boys, but we did get it. Girls still got the cane. Or you were made to stand outside the classroom or stand on a chair sometimes half the lesson.
And one of them, as I said, Mr. Graham, I like Mr. Graham. He was the garden teaching, but what a cane he had. He had a lovely cane. He used to hit you on the fingertips. He was a fingertip specialist, and it used to just catch you on the right on the front.
But we didn't, I don't know, we weren't unhappy. We just got on with it.
We had Mr. Megan as our headmaster, and he was brilliant fun. And we had about 30 centimetres of snow one day, and he cancelled all the lessons, and we had a snowman building competition instead. And he said he was going to pick the best snowman to win. And in the end, he said he couldn't pick a snowman. They were all fantastic. And so he gave us all a sweet from the tuck shop that we used to have at school. It was like the best day at school ever.